Yeah, I think you guys are diabolical.
Nah,
Yeah,
there'd be like 2,000 people in here if you did that shit at midnight.
for sure.
I think that this is the community being messy again.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I
This
think
isn't
this.
us this time.
People are literally supposed to be getting up, going to work, and I bet you they're sitting on their phone in the bed listening to this instead of getting their ass up and getting ready for work.
No, I think they're getting ready fees. I just think they're going to be late.
Oh, they're definitely going to be late
Like,
to be tuned in.
Well, if you are here for tea, I don't have any. I promise. I promise I don't.
can I ask you some questions?
Of course you can.
Great. Is this a part of the JBN?
Is what a part of the
All right.
JB?
Is Hot and Bothered podcast with Meylssa Ford a part of the JBN?
Oh, I want to answer you, but I feel like that'll take some of the oomph off of things.
It won't.
No, it's so great that nobody knows anything.
I know, and that's why a lot of
Right.
the talk is happening, and I don't know why no one asked this first. Like,
Because they know he's not going to answer.
why am I the one to ask this the first time? Like, why? I hate it.
I feel like
Because you're our
Meylssa.
PR.
I feel like Melissa's already stated that this is her own endeavor outside of me and outside of my network.
People don't
She
listen,
never
right?
said that. She
So
just said it was her.
Yeah,
but she
I
also
don't
said,
remember that.
I don't know. She also said whenever she was talking about guests, I don't know if everyone had their listening ears on, but she was like, "Ooh, I need to get Ian to book this person," and I was like,
Just using her resources.
using her resources. Okay,
I think that's what that is. But for anyone wondering, this is not a Joe.
JB, a JBN endeavor.
Gotcha.
No, this
Okay.
is a Meylssa Ford
Okay,
product.
cool. That's what I thought. So all of my PR tips were under that assumption. Um, and so, you know what?
And I support her.
Yup. Period. I think all of the people have been in support of this. And then last night was kind of weird. It was kind of weird, no? Does anyone have any thoughts or opinions on that?
Absolutely. I think what everybody can resonate with is if you ever tried to start up anything with a friend and you gave a friend an idea and someone says, "Oh, that was my idea first," something like that. And then they run with it. I feel like everyone can kind of relate to that and be like, "Damn, I felt a way about that when I heard that." You know what I mean?
Well, what I'm going to say is if I'm doing any endeavor where I bring most of the audience, nothing is equal.
Hello. That's what I said. And isn't and a point also too was if anyone can correct me when I'm wrong, Mel was also fronting most of well, not most, but all of the costs because when S said she didn't know who was in that space.
So
So
then there's
therefore,
that part.
Wait, I don't know. Joe, I kind of think you should. Shh.
All right,
yeah, you should, Joe.
oh,
Let
Yeah.
us.
okay, go, go, go.
Yeah,
Oh,
let us.
I'm sorry. Okay, you're
only
right,
because
Dory.
you said
Dory, you is right.
Yeah, you
you
don't get
said
in
something
trouble.
that's
Let
gonna
us do
get
this.
clipped
Let
up.
us speak
Clipped
for
up.
you,
You're about
But
to.
why? No, that's a fact.
so
They
you
could
don't
clip
get in
that part
trouble,
up.
Joe.
No,
Oh,
because they're already. Oh, Joe. No.
Because then they're gonna say it was all you.
And they're going to say, never mind.
well, they're already saying that. But
Yeah,
what
but you can't say it.
I don't think I make it a secret that I behave this way.
I know, but it's not helping. Unless that's. Never mind. Never mind.
Yep.
Just.
I didn't tell her to do that.
I know, but they're just.
All right, I'm you now.
All
But
right,
yeah,
another
what
another
I was
question.
saying,
Another question.
she is
Does
fronting.
quick question? Does audience and marketing outweigh expertise and what is actually the pod's about? Because you can bring
No.
everybody you want, but if you know what I'm saying, like what weighs more?
That's a very good question. I don't. Ooh, I want to talk. Does anyone
But
else want to talk before me?
I don't think it was solely just like, oh, Mel's gonna introduce a pod and just S gonna be talking about nutrition and all this other shit. Like S brings a portion of that to the pod, but that is not all the pod is about. So I don't think at the end of the day, if S wants to do that, S can go do that. But you needed Mel's just money, so to speak, in production to put it out.
But to
And
answer Blake's question, he's saying that is this launch going to affect the content matter and what does one outweigh the other? I don't think the answer to that, in my opinion, is no. I think
yeah,
that
I'll say no.
before we even get to the meat and potatoes of it, a lot of people are closely watching this launch to kind of gauge and see what the podcast is going to be about. And with what's happened thus far, a lot of talk of it being messy, unprepared. She wasn't ready, which is kind of crazy considering that she's had her own platform and launched shows before. I think that a lot of people are already closely watching this. I think that she also is not a marketer. She's also not in charge of her own PR and not in charge of her own rollout. So to judge that and try to say that the content and the meat and potatoes of the things that she is in charge for of is kind of fucked up. But I think that, people with a brain could probably kind of see the difference between the two. And I already think that the podcast is going to be fire. I just am, as a publicist and like digital marketer, I'm like closely watching the launch of it and saying, okay, is this going to help your bottom line? And every day we stray farther away from the Lord's plan, in my
I
opinion.
think we stray closer to the Lord's plan. I
I
think
think
this.
it's
I think
yeah.
this is the greatest rollout in the history
You
of
get on my
And
podcasting.
that's what comes.
nerves.
That's my next
Nah,
point.
this
Is
is
all
killing.
press still good press in this regard? Like, is all press positive?
I mean, depends on who you're asking.
All press
Yeah, if
isn't
you ask
positive,
this
but it may
nigga
have a
and if you
positive
ask
outcome.
me, it's gonna
Joe
be
so
two
messy.
different answers.
All press isn't positive, but it may have a positive outcome. And people who can
I'll
say
say
negative
so.
things about you, but that negative thing is what drives everyone over there, and then gets you all those views, which then gets you, return, even though it started out negative.
I'm going to bring a few familiar faces to the stage. I've also put on my soft voice now to let you guys know I'm done. I'm done with this. Done entertaining this.
You are so disgusting, but
You're ridiculous.
Good
He's
I,
a,
morning,
he's a man,
People
sir.
are so hung on
everyone.
taking Mel down because, like, their fascination of hating Joe and anyone close to him that is remotely succeeding, that they are just filled with rage, that they have to try to go out of their way to involve themselves in the situation, make themselves front and center, and position themselves as being this is what they're doing. Like, she took your podcast name. Like, they didn't even know that until they were told that. So,
Good
Exactly.
morning, everyone.
good morning. Who's that? Lavita.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
good
Oh, that sounds
morning.
like Lavita.
Hi,
Hi,
Lavita.
guys. I'm
Hey,
good. How are you
Lavita.
Good
guys?
morning.
Joe, how are you, Joe?
I am great. How are you?
I'm always blessed and highly flavored. Thank you.
You sound like AI.
Highly
Oh shit.
flavored. Go ahead, girl.
I'm still in that Lavita. That us.
It's yours.
And shout out to you ladies having beautiful morning voices.
It's not even 10 a.m., Lavita, please.
Listen, I'm sorry.
Well,
I
it's like
am.
that when you work
I
for
can't
the
hear Lavita
people.
at all,
When you work for the people, you have to have a morning
but
voice.
I love you.
You do.
Oh,
Pass the
Dory
mic.
can't hear Levita.
Uh-oh.
Dory, drop down and come back up.
She can't hear you.
She can't hear that, Lavita.
She can't hear you.
I'll go down and come back.
She said, "Drop down and come back up, Dory."
Um, if there's
I'm. s-
anyone that would like to come up and give a word about the Lord, you can.
Does it have to be about
He
the
is so
Lord?
good. He's so good, but he does not live in the midst of confusion. And this is giving confusion. So I think we need to center him back into this launch. Let's get him back into the nucleus because he doesn't surround himself with confusion. So we're I think I'm glad that we've come together this morning because we're two or three are gathered in his name. So I'm hoping that we can intercess on Mel's behalf.
Trust
Won't
in the
he do
Lord
it?
with all thine heart
There you guys for
I
and
can
watching the
hear you
video.
Amen.
Don't
now.
forget to
Hi,
like,
Lavita.
comment, and
lean
subscribe
not
to
Good
the
within your
channel.
morning.
own understanding.
And it feels like there's a lot of leaning to one's own understanding with this launch, Joe. What's up?
Man,
Well, I don't think the podcast is going to be a bad thing. I think that Meylssa knows what to do. This is actually her element. To be honest, I feel like she's going to thrive with whatever she does.
You think messy is her element?
Well, it may not necessarily be messy, right? Like,
Mm.
Meylssa doesn't actually give, she's confrontational. She gives that she may, respond to confrontation. But I mean, when you guys think about the trajectory of her career, I mean, she's done radio, she's done blogging. Like, if she wanted to be messy, she could have just stayed with Jason Lee.
Well, I will say this. I don't know if anybody remembers this. It was about 2, 3 years ago. It was on a Patreon episode. It was the first time we ever saw Meylssa. It was in Parks' crib. I think Surf was on that podcast. And there was a version of Meylssa that we got that episode that I've never seen since. Now, question, Joe, do you believe that was a version of Meylssa that you were expecting?
Buddy, it's too early for you to try to trick me with your little trap questions. My answer to that is I absolutely love this version of Meylssa Ford, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the new season of Meylssa Ford.
Absolutely,
I'm gonna
absolutely.
also say that even if she is messy, so what? I feel like right now that's kind of what media is missing. I think she can do classy messy because you have like Zeus Network messy, and then you have like just regular gossip tease messy. I think if she were to be messy, it still would be a positive catalyst because for the last week, I would say even for the last month, people been begging for Wendy Williams back. So what's like? I don't really think that there could be a wrong division here of how she maneuvers through this sector.
My question is, where did we get messy from other than the rollout? I'm talking about the meat and potatoes of the pod. My question is, like, why are we thinking that she could even, why are we thinking that's a lane for the podcast?
That messy is Elaine.
Yeah.
No, I never thought that. I wasn't alluding to that, by the way.
Yeah, people might think the rollout might be a little messy now
Sloppy.
at this point, but I don't think the pod is necessarily going to be around like being messy.
Yeah. And I've asked this question a couple of times.
Uh,
Um,
uh,
Livia, I think you were there, Livita, when I asked this the first time and stuff about like the contents of the pod and stuff, but I didn't get messy at all. I got informative, I got girlfriend, I got like um just interview style of like, getting to know people and her being able to shine in that element, but I didn't get gossip or
well, but let me ask you something, Dory, as
Mhm.
someone who does PR, and I don't want you to give the goods away for free, but
You know
from
I
a
won't.
PR perspective,
Mhm.
while a lot of the discourse surrounding male and female
Mhm.
relationships that she
Mm.
has or has had may
Mhm.
not be part of the pod, it
Mhm.
is it's elements of her that
Mhm.
have been coming up and have been louder almost than even her existence on the pod of
Mm.
lately, of people coming at her, friends, former friends.
Mm.
This has been a thing for her in the last couple weeks, honestly, since she's been on the pod, let's be
Mm.
honest.
Mm.
And one has to wonder, is this part of her brand? So she's
Mm.
selling this pod, but what we're seeing, what we're getting a lot of as fans of her is she's got a lot of discourse with women and she's about to launch a pod that's women centric. Is this bullshit?
Ooh,
Hey, wait a
I
second. Men
like
get
this.
hot and bothered too.
Oh my
I
god.
know, and I love Mel. I'm Mel Hive, but I'm just
Period.
food for the court. Food, food grits for the mill is, you know,
You're talking about perception and you're talking about
yeah,
her branding and her image.
exactly.
I understand, and those are really good questions, Levita. I think you raised really good points, and that would be totally a part of, like I said, either her bottom line, the way that she presents herself. That would be a part of the plan, in my opinion.
So, as someone who does
Hmm.
PR, gently describe to me how you would kind of navigate her on a very high level, on a very macro level, or does she even need to be navigated out of this? Is this good for the
Oh, for
pod?
sure, it needs to be navigated out of this. Every day, there's something happening with this damn pod, and it's pissing me off.